Today on Suncoast View, Suncoast 911 service had an emergency of its own with a widespread outage. We'll talk about the impact coming up.
And we're getting ready for Super Bowl Sunday, and a Suncoast football superstar stops by to talk about his time in the game. We can't wait to meet Archie Griffin.
And we're getting the first peeks at this year's Super Bowl ads. We'll take a trip down memory lane. All that and more right now on Suncoast View. Welcome to the show, and welcome back to Pam and Les McCurdy, owners of McCurdy's Comedy Theater.
Hey. Yes.
Great to have you.
Good
I'm looking
here.
at this spacing and thinking, Pam seems so far away, but she scooted closer to Les.
That's right. I won't take it personally.
You shouldn't.
I
You
would
shouldn't.
scoot closer to Les, too.
Well, maybe.
Well, maybe. Let's move on to McCurdy.
Maybe this whole relationship has changed, Joey.
Who's happening at McCurdy?
Polyamorous.
This weekend, we have Steve Eric. He is the rock and roll comic.
Oh, is he going to sing?
No.
Well, no. He
Les
looks
says
the
no.
part of
He
rock and
does.
roll.
He's like an old rock star.
Yeah.
He looks like an 80s rock star.
He takes you
And
the way
Gino
back.
the garbage guy. It's a crazy, outrageous show this week.
Super Bowl of comedy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Always something fun going on
Oh,
at
yeah,
McCurdy's.
sure,
So that
sure.
is happening throughout the weekend. You'll want to check out McCurdy's Comedy Theater website for tickets and details on that. But we're talking food, because you know what? When we think about Super Bowl
Yes.
weekend, we are ready to have our
Yeah.
Super Bowl celebration. We think instantly of Mike Bacon from Brew Burgers, who's bringing on the game food.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Exactly.
And when you think of Super Bowl, you think of
You.
cauliflower. Cauliflower.
I did not think of that.
You didn't think of that?
I did not.
Well, we are going to do some amazing things with cauliflower today, as well as
Good.
some bison burger. So it's going to be a little different take on the buffalo.
Okay.
Huh?
That makes
Buffalo
sense.
wings, buffalo cauliflower.
I guess we won't say where's the beef.
Right.
It's not in the kitchen today.
I'm trying to think of the last time I heard the phrase "amazing things with cauliflower."
Right.
It's been quite some time. I
You
wanna
noticed there
say
was a
that.
pregnant pause there because we didn't even know
Nobody
how to
knew where to
respond.
Well, this is the time of year where everyone falls off their diets. And
Absolutely.
Super Bowl Sunday, I feel like, is perfectly positioned to make you do that. So I'm excited that maybe,
You know what? You put something in buffalo wing sauce and anything's good,
That's
and that
true.
includes cauliflower.
Exactly.
So we'll be
Exactly.
fine. We can do it. A lot of great things going on this weekend, and one we want to highlight is the 4th annual Bradenton Regatta. This is a great family activity. It goes all day on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and it's right at the base of the Green Bridge. Lots of things going on. Now, they had some wet weather last year, so we're glad the forecast is dry this year. Huge drumline competition to kick off the day. That doesn't get you spirited. I don't know what does. And there's the boat races. There's music throughout the day, and it wraps up with fireworks in the evening. So cool family event. The Riverwalk is gorgeous, and the weather is supposed to be picture
I
perfect.
think a lot of Sarasota people, I tell you, have not actually been down to that riverfront since it's all been redone, which has been for quite a while. And it is. It's really cool.
You can have a great
Yes.
walk. My husband and I actually kind of did a little bit of a walking bar tour down the Riverwalk
Yeah.
one
A little
day.
pub crawl.
You can do a little pub crawl.
And they
so-
bring great music at this regatta.
They really
and
do. And when Realize Bradenton, that organization, when they do something, they all do it together.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
really is well done.
Yeah, it's a great
Absolutely.
community. So excited about the 4th annual regatta and glad that the weather is going to cooperate. It is time for our first hot topic, and 911 services all across the Suncoast are back in working order today, but yesterday's outages bring up some pretty interesting questions. So maintenance work was reportedly being done on the system. Inadvertently, a backup system was knocked offline as well. So those who needed help had to look up and call non-emergency numbers. So officials tried to blast the word out with smartphone alerts and social media. And we're told today there's no way to actually trace the incoming calls that were missed. So definitely one of the perils of technology. Were you aware of the outage?
No.
I was not aware of it.
Oh, wow.
And I have an Apple iPhone. I didn't get any
I didn't get it
alerts.
either.
No.
I got repeated texts and robocalls, and it may be because I registered with Sarasota County around Hurricane
okay.
Irma. So
Yeah.
I got calls saying that it was down. I got another call in an hour or two saying it was still down, and then I got a call saying it was back.
Wow, I didn't get it. I got a call saying I could actually purchase life insurance at my age. But
Which
I
is a
didn't-
miracle in itself.
That was an emergency.
That was an emergency, but nothing on the other end. No, I didn't.
It did make
Yeah.
me nervous when I got the thing that it went down because I thought, uh-oh, like,
Not a-
I hope nothing happens, you know?
Right,
I don't
right.
ever really think that, but I became
Right.
aware that this is a very bad time for someone to decide to rob a bank or,
But you know, you would think that almost that that would be a total media blitz. Like that would go out to the television stations and the radios, and like everybody would make announcements.
And it did go out, and I know this isn't a plug for the ABC app, but we also got to put out a notification on the WWSB ABC7 app to let you know that.
But
it was
everybody
down.
doesn't have notifications from the county from this.
Yes,
You know what? It made me stop and think. There was life before smartphones, and we
Yes.
did know how to function.
Right.
I heard a fun discussion this morning that at one point in time when there was a car accident, some nice person had to leave the scene, go to the payphone, find a payphone, go to the payphone, have a quarter. We used to have to use our brains and actually accomplish things, whereas now everyone's like, hey, this isn't working, I don't know what to do.
Right.
So, we have gotten a little complacent.
I remember
think.
as a kid, we lived around the corner from a corner store, and there was a small fire or something. I remember the owners running over to our house to ask if they could use our phone. And the idea of someone coming to my house now asking me to use my phone, I would slap them. But at the
Note to self. Yeah. Don't go see Joey.
No. Well, I wonder how much that affects people being prepared themselves. Just knowing CPR and all those kind of things to where you go, you're not dependent on outside
Calling
to do
someone that-
everything.
Put the non-emergency number in your phone. That's the one
Yeah,
you're supposed to
that's true.
use. All right, well, we're getting ready for Super Bowl Sunday, and many are most excited
Whee!
about the halftime show. It's
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, this year's
Justin.
headliner. So when he takes the stage, 110 million people will see him across America, and he does it for free. Did you know all chart-topping musicians that you see at the Super Bowl are unpaid? So the league pays for production costs and other show expenses. Those can run into the millions. But no performer gets paid. Maybe they should, because last year, the Super Bowl's audience spiked to its highest level during Lady Gaga's performance.
Wow.
The entertainers are bringing in the most people.
Well, and
Right.
the thing is, Super Bowl is that one spectacular event, so it's become a national holiday. But it's like, we have people that come to our house, and every year they walk in the door and they go, what's to eat? And who's playing? And
They don't even know.
They don't know.
No.
So you can see how, I bet a lot of people that watch the game are not football fans. And when
The
they
entertainment
really
is
look
part
forward to
of
the half.
Sure.
the plus.
Yes.
Because,
It's true.
and I mean, I think what they do spend on those productions,
Amazing.
oh my gosh.
And you can't get that kind of publicity.
You
I mean,
can't, as
and
an artist.
Exposure.
And if you notice, several of the last several years' performers, they drop an album a week later, a month later.
Right,
they go
right.
on tour. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge. We were talking the other day, though, this is the one TV viewing event that you can't go to the bathroom because people don't want to miss the game, you don't want to miss the commercials, and you don't
Well,
want to miss halftime.
Pause.
Yeah, no, that's not
CPR.
fun. That's not fun.
CPR,
That is
those
against the rules in our house on Super Bowl. You got to do it the old-fashioned way. so.
Okay.
All right. Well, those who hunt typically wear camouflage, right? It's required by law that you wear a bright flash of color, orange, so that you can be seen by other hunters for safety reasons. But what about women hunters who might want to flash something a bit more feminine? 3 states currently allow pink camouflage to be worn for safe hunting. So it's under discussion in several more states in the legislature. Women say this is not about looking cute. Male legislators are being criticized for pointing out that that's why they might want to do it. But it is about having other safe options. So, women, we argue for our rights for everything all the time. Should we get to wear a different color?
Absolutely.
If we want?
Should we
You
get
should.
to wear a different color, Joey?
Exactly.
And, I mean, this is where I think it's starting to skew the other way.
Would you like to wear pink, Les?
I'd be flattered.
Very
to
few
wear
people
pink.
look good in orange. You have to have a very
right. I
specific
agree
skin
with you
tone.
there.
Yeah. In other words, in orange, you look like a prisoner walking through. It's
But
weird
that
that
would
it's
sound
orange
like
get
because you look like a
mistaken.
prisoner that just escaped. Yes, shoot him. Pink. Who's shooting anything pink?
Good thought.
No.
Well, isn't the whole point of orange, though, that you're supposed to be able to see that someone
A
is there?
flash
So-
of
Yes.
orange. Yeah.
Do we wanna be
the reason
tampering with the
being
color?
Is that I understood growing up, we only had to wear the orange when we deer hunted, because not when we bird hunted, because the deer they're colorblind, so the orange
know.
doesn't stand out to them. But apparently a grouse, on the other hand,
Good to know.
could see you coming, in your big orange jumpsuit. So I didn't know it was a law. Because when we were growing up, it was deer hunting, you had to wear the orange. But other types of hunting, we didn't.
I cannot quote the hunting laws. I can just say I know that you have to have something bright orange present on your body, or pink. as we may find out. So
Oh,
the
okay.
things they
I'll bet we
debate
get
in
a
the
lot of
legislature.
emails on this one.
Yeah, trying to avoid that. Speaking of hunting, a bow and arrow can apparently be more useful than just for hitting a target. A South Georgia, no jokes, Les, 7-year-old, had a stubborn bottom front tooth. So she asked her dad for help to get it out fast. You know this is going.
no.
Yes.
Dad tied a string to the tooth, the other end to the arrow.
No.
He took aim and released the bow. And the
Wow.
look on the girl's face says it all. She is thrilled that that's out of there.
Man,
Wow.
that could have gone
All right, watch
horribly
it.
bad.
Watch it one more way. She doesn't even look
The
stressed.
anticipation
Here
is
it
what
comes.
gets
He
you.
takes
No,
aim.
no.
She's like, oh, that was fast.
She didn't even notice it happened.
No, she didn't even
That's
flinch.
crazy.
Wow.
Do not do that at home.
Exactly.
Well, I think my dad gave me an apple once. I had a loose tooth, and he was like, "Here, have an
Yeah.
apple," and then it was gone.
And then you
know.
just slam the door and tie
we
it to
weren't
the
really a
doorknob.
bow and arrow type family.
No.
Surprise.
If you are, there you go. We're going to check in with our happy hour forecast. And when we come back, college and NFL superstar Archie Griffin joins us.
Woo.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with a look at your happy hour forecast and your first alert forecast. Calling for beautiful conditions this afternoon and this evening as well. Look at the few clouds that are moving in from the east coast, and you can see pretty calm conditions out there. Nice temperatures too, finally back in the low to mid 70s. Satellite imagery review showing lots of sunshine around today. There are some clouds though advancing in our direction. We'll talk about those clouds and what it means for our weather of this Friday. And as current conditions go, it's 72. Perfect. Sunny, and the dew point 54. Winds out of the west and northwest at 10, and the pressure remains high at 30-15. Now, as far as our forecast goes, we are looking for a cold front to move on down. That front now making its way through Oklahoma and into Arkansas as well as Tennessee tonight. That front doesn't have a lot with it, but it will eventually slide on by and bring with it a increasing cloudiness. But this evening looks to be pretty nice. Temperatures in the upper 50s by 11. More at 5. See you then.
The Suncoast is full of Ohio transplants and Ohio State fans. So when I tell you only one college player has ever won the Heisman Trophy twice, I bet you know who I'm talking about. Archie Griffin went on to play 7 successful seasons with the Cincinnati Bengals, including playing in Super Bowl 16. So we are thrilled to sit down with him as part of our Super Bowl celebration. Welcome, Archie.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
Fun to have you here. You are a fairly new Suncoast resident. Tell us how
I
you
sure
chose
am.
us. How
Well,
did you do that?
I'm fairly new. This is actually my 3rd winter being here at the Suncoast, and I got here because of the love I have for golf. And,
Yeah, reason.
And I found out when I was visiting here, because there's a lot of Ohio State folks
There are.
around here. I mean, everywhere you go, there's Buckeyes. So that made me feel really welcomed. But I love golf, and a good friend of mine, Bruce Cassidy, with Concessions Charities, he introduced me to the concession golf course, and I loved it. It's too hard for me, but I loved it. And I've been here ever since, trying to conquer that course.
Every golfer here wants to know, how many times a week are you getting out?
Well, I've got a little injury right now, so I can't get out much right now. But after tomorrow, I get a boot off my ankle.
Okay.
I'll start back hitting the ball.
Yep.
And by the time that I have my golf outing here, I will be ready to play.
You will be ready, all right.
Yeah.
So
So
I
he
admit.
avoided the question. Did you know?
I did. He didn't tell me how many rounds.
No, never get close to that.
But as things get closer, I guarantee you, I will be out at least 4 times.
4 times a week.
That's
Did you hear that,
right.
Pam? 4 times a
Great.
week.
I'm already a golfer,
At the
though.
right table.
Yeah, those two are never going to do it. I'm an unabashed college football fan. I have also a football mom of 3 boys. So the way the game is played is important to so many of us. How has it changed since the 70s and 80s to where we are now on the field?
Well, it's actually gotten a little, I don't want to call it softer, but it is, because you cannot do some of the things that they were able to do during the time that I played. For instance, you cannot get hit in the head.
Right.
They kick guys out of the game for that.
Yeah.
You can't intentionally try to pull a guy down by his collar.
Right, horse collar.
Horse collar.
Do you like the changes?
I do, because it speaks to the safety of the game.
Yeah,
I think
there
it's
you
very
are,
important.
running people over.
But it's the safety of the game that's really,
Yeah.
really important. And you all know all the talk that's going on about concussions and whatnot. And those things are very, very important because there's a lot of science being done on that right now, and they're finding out a lot of things. And it's important for the game to be safe. And I think at all levels, they're doing things to make the game safer. So I'm for that.
It's a tough balance. You know, you
It
want to
really is. It
preserve the
really
game,
is.
but we do care about safety. All right, let's
Absolutely.
talk Super Bowl.
Okay.
You played in a Super Bowl. You had that experience of the night before, the week before. What are the first-time players, which are primarily the Eagles, have to point out, what are they feeling this week leading up to it?
Well, I guarantee you, they're nervous. They might say that they're not, but they're nervous because this is the biggest game of all.
Right.
I mean, this is the time that only eyes are on this game. I mean, and that's huge. A lot goes on with the Super Bowl, the interviews, all that. I mean,
Right.
it's totally different than it has been all year long for all of them. Now, New England's, they're used to it. I mean,
Right.
this is, you know, they're trying for 6 Super Bowl wins. They're trying to get another ring on the thumb, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Not on the thumb, but on the other hand.
Isn't it crazy that they're so dominant and they're so great that now everybody wants to see them lose? I mean, isn't that the craziest thing? They're just awesome, and it's like, no, they've got everybody will be rooting for Philly if you're not from New England.
Well, I actually have to ask that one. Who are you rooting
I
for?
tell you, I root for where Buckeyes are, and we've got a young man who's actually been playing a lot of football. Malcolm Jenkins is playing for Philly, and so I'm kind of rooting for them. It's going to be a tough go for them because we all know that Brady has been absolutely phenomenal in quarterbacking the Patriots, and even when you think they're going to lose, he finds a way to bring them back to win. And so from my standpoint, I just think Philadelphia, they've got to be really, really aggressive and not pull back if they happen to have a lead. They've got to continue to pound and pound and put the nail in the coffin if it gets to that. I mean,
And what about mentally? If they end up behind, you know, what do you do in a game like this? If the other team scores first, do you think, oh no, or do you just have to
Psych you out?
Yeah,
No,
how's the mental game?
I don't think at this point, at this level, in this game, I don't think that the guys are going to get psyched out. I mean, to get here, they had to believe in themselves. And Philly as well as New England, they both believe that they're going to win this football game.
Right. Yeah, mental matters.
That's exactly right. And when you think about Philly's defense, I mean, you don't underestimate them. They are truly outstanding.
And that's what it's all about.
That's exactly right.
You can't give Brady more than, 3 or 4 seconds
That's right.
in the pocket, or he's going to pick you
exactly. And
apart.
they've got to make sure that he's not able to step up into that pocket and
Right.
throw that ball because he's so experienced. He sees the field better than anybody. He tries to look you off, and so it's going to be a test.
fun.
And he looks like a
It's gotta
damn
be
movie
fun.
star, too. The whole package is.
You know where else mental matters? Out on the golf course. And the 2018 Archie Griffin Celebrity Golf Classic is coming up March 5th and 6th. This is a chance to play golf with some great football icons. We're looking at Will Allen, Eddie George, Joey Galloway, Keith Byers, all sorts of guys there. Bengals Isaac Curtis. You got your friends coming.
Oh, yeah, I've got some
We
friends
can't wait.
coming.
And
Louis
you know
Reed.
what? You support the Boys and Girls Clubs of Sarasota County by doing this.
This is my 3rd time hosting it, and it is. If you are a fan of golf and sports, you shouldn't miss it.
All right,
Amazing.
concessioncharities.org. We can't wait.
And he's the star.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't ask you your handicaps. I was polite. All right, our Super Bowl celebration continues. We're going to take a look back at some ads and walk down memory lane.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes. Choral Artists of Sarasota presents Carmina Burana in Motion. Carl Orff's choral masterpiece, Carmina Burana, bursts into life in this lavish production designed for 60 voices, 3 celebrated soloists, a 2-piano percussion ensemble, and dynamic premiere choreography performed by members of Sarasota Contemporary Dance. Do not miss this lush feast of the senses. Saturday, February 3rd, 4 p.m. at Church of the Palms in Sarasota. Tickets and info are at choralartistsarasota.org or by calling 941-387-4900.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
It's a very big fluffy bun.
Where's the beef?
Some hamburger places give you a lot less beef on a lot of bun.
Where's the beef?
Yes. Who could forget Clara from Wendy's commercial from 1984 when that simple question started a nationwide frenzy? Where's the beef? All right, so I will be the first one to admit that when I tune into the Super Bowl, no surprise here, it is for the commercials.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I think the game is just that space in between the ads. But I'm not alone because more than 100 million Americans will watch them this year. And that is why NBC confirms that they will average more than $5 million for 30-second spots.
That's insane. I
The
remember
most
when it was
expensive.
$1 million a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
No way. No one could afford to do that.
We totally backed off this.
Yeah. Not advertising as much with them.
No.
We understand.
Yeah, how much for 15 seconds? But so 1984 was actually the year when it really took off. So I don't know what was happening in commercials in 1983, but you know, with the Wendy's commercial in 84. In case you don't remember, the hype began that year with the Apple ad. This was also in 1984. This was kind of the ad that kicked it off. This spot introduced the Macintosh personal computer. Remember that thing was like a locker on your desk? The ad's legendary. It began Apple's rise to consumer product stardom, and it kickstarted that epic Super Bowl advertising game. Funny trivia, it only aired once, and it is considered by industry insiders to be the best TV ad ever.
And kind of interesting that it, you know, teased back to the movie and made it all seem so, not scary, but unknown. You know, this unknown thing is coming into our homes. I mean, I'm surprised you wanted one after seeing it.
And that concept of trying to predict what the future would be, you know, what we're all going to have.
The one, and I can't remember the name of the company. It was an online, I think, employment company, but they dumped their entire, all of their money into one Super Bowl spot. Just one, and it worked. It worked.
The ROI worked.
It was a great spot.
They're not a commercial. They're a mini little movie. I mean, you know, they have a beginning, middle, and end. It tells a little story. I mean, they've left just the generic, you know, putting up an ad for something. I mean,
And it, you know, there's no better chance, I guess, to get in front of one large audience. But, you know, to do one spot. Now, we all remember the Budweiser ads, right? So they make the list of probably the most well-known ever. And you might remember this chorus. Cue it. Let's take a listen.
Budweiser. 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 Budweiser.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yes,
I like that one.
You cannot get it out of your head, and we actually tried to do our impressions of it yesterday, and I will spare you that. But the Frogs and their catchphrase from 1995 survived for years before Bud had evolved their formula.
Well, they went catchy and cute for a while, and then they went more nostalgic for a while.
Yes.
Catchy and cute was fun in the 90s.
It worked for them.
Yeah.
Bud has a good budget to work with.
They do. Is that because of you?
We've helped a lot, as much as we could.
Bud Light.
It's still our #1 seller.
Number one beer.
Absolutely.
Bud Light.
Well, and consider a perfect event, the Super Bowl, to be advertising Bud. I mean, you know, most of the viewers probably have it in their hands.
And their
at that
Bud
point.
and Bud Light Bowl, their own bowl that they did. That was kind of a cool
That was a good one.
advertising idea.
Well, one cool thing that's happened recently now is that brands are starting to release their commercials ahead of the Super Bowl. So we're starting to see some previews already for this year.
Little teasers.
Yes, and Budweiser has changed up their formula. So no cute characters are needed here. This ad shows actual employees at Budweiser's Cartersville, Georgia brewery. That was when beer production stopped and the canning of emergency safe drinking water began. This was part of the disaster relief efforts during hurricane season. So Bud got a little soft, got a little personal.
I love this ad. I actually watched it start to finish, and first of all, I mean, it's a good pat on the back for the company, and that they're good neighbors, and that we don't need beer at times, we need safe drinking water, you know, and that they were able to do that for the victims of Harvey. And because of everything that happened this year, I read that they're going to transfer operation to Fort Collins, Colorado, so they can also stop beer and go to water in an emergency situation.
Well, I know our local Bud maven, John Saputo, is loving this piece.
You know? Good commercials. They're getting their $5 million worth with us.
And think about it, Bud doesn't really have to sell the beer anymore.
Exactly.
They just now they can sell their personal, you know, how they're
And
helping.
goodwill. We like corporate goodwill.
It's a good thing. So another one that has leaked, and this is one of my favorites, Amazon Alexa, which many of us have the Alexa in our house. She's probably listening to us right now. This won the holiday shopping season battle. A lot of us got it over the holidays, but how will it do in the ad battle? Here's a preview.
Amazon's Alexa lost her voice this morning, causing a
Alexa lost her voice? How is that even possible?
We have the replacements ready. Just say the word.
And you're sure this is going to work?
Alexa, set the mood.
Now setting the mood. You're in the bush, and you're just so dirty, and you're so sweaty, because it's hot in that bush.
Alexa, reboot.
All right, so if you missed it, the concept here is that Alexa loses her voice and various celebrities will cause all sorts of trouble trying to fill in. You saw Rebel Wilson with her own brand of trouble. Anthony Hopkins actually answered important questions. I would love this if we had these celebrities in Alexa because my husband fights with Alexa constantly. So I would love to hear him argue with a different voice. So those are some of the previews of what's coming. You'll definitely want to join us Monday at 4 because we're going to recap the winners and some of the losers of this year's Super Bowl ads. And we want to hear who you enjoy as well. Well, coming up next, this show is going to the dogs, and we mean that literally.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more Call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Suncoast View. We're having a lot of fun with our Super Bowl celebration, and Mike Bacon from Brew Burgers is in the kitchen. Okay, Mike, you said you brought bison, so we won't ask where the beef is, but we do want to know where the bison come from.
I will tell you all about it. We actually just started using this company a year or so ago out of Punta Gorda. It's fantastic. It's a free-range, antibiotic-free, hormone-free bison farm in Punta Gorda called Three Sons Ranch. We fell in love with it, and we use that. They also do a beef product as well, but we just are now getting the process of putting the bison on the menu, and this is a little different take on it. We added some buffalo to it, you know, for Super Bowl, so it's we call it buffalo to the third. So it's got buffalo in it, and buffalo on top of it. So there it is.
We're excited to try it. It'll be over in a little bit. Joey?
A bath can be a very stressful experience for our pets, but there are many health benefits to making sure that our four-legged friends are properly bathed and groomed. Ashley Miller, owner of Spot SRQ Grooming in Burns Square, is here with some tips to take away our puppy's panic. So I brought in my little Lulu, and as you can see, she's shaking like a leaf. She doesn't mind baths at home, but I know I have to take her to a groomer, and that's stressful, maybe more for me than for her. What are some ways that we can kind of make this a little easier on our dogs?
Definitely your demeanor when you bring the dog in is going to set the tone for their grooming experience overall. So I think coming into the situation with a real calm presence is going to be most helpful.
Joey,
for the
this
dog.
explains a lot. The dog has your anxiety.
Yes, I'm already seeing what I need to correct. A lot of times they say if you want to fix your dog, you have to fix the owner first. So I know, we have to groom the dogs because they can get matted, and it isn't just about looking nice. There's some health benefits to making sure your dog is clean.
Yeah, it's a really important part of their overall well-being. You've got their coat that needs to be de-shed if they're a shedding double undercoated dog, or it needs to be trimmed to protect them and make them feel good overall.
All right, so let's see. So Lulu has agreed to come on. So we're gonna give a little bath technique, and you can help me out here. So we have some diluted shampoo.
This is a hypoallergenic shampoo, and I think for at home, that's the best option to use because it's safe for their skin and safe for their hair.
All right, now, is it all right for both of us to be here grooming her, rubbing her?
You want to be careful if, as a groomer, with the owner nearby, could potentially cause the dog to be more stressed out and try to nip an outsider.
Okay.
Because this is a pack situation here.
So in this case, it would be better if I step back and let you take it.
Yeah, and I think the best place to start is with the hypo shampoo, is here at the ears and on the face, and then work it down into the neck and into the back, down into the legs. And you want to really make sure that you wash the paws really well.
I have a question. So you didn't start with like a wet down first. You went right to...
If the shampoo's diluted, it's not really necessary. And I think it makes the process a lot faster.
It's one less rinse. Yeah.
It's
especially
less
if they're stressed.
on the dog.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, I can see, and she shakes because she's also a Chihuahua, but she's a good dog for getting bathed. She doesn't try to run anywhere. She just sits still and lets you wash.
And looks miserable.
Yeah.
So what other areas, she's a long-haired Chihuahua, what other areas might we be missing, or do we want to make sure that we get?
So you want to really make sure with like a wet cloth that you cleanse the face, especially right in the tear area here.
She does carry some
Mine used to get really
dry
gunky
eyes.
and red. It would show up like stains.
It's really acidic. It can actually damage the tissue there.
So you do have to do a good eye wipe down?
Yeah, you really should.
Sort of a gross question, but an area we all avoid. What about their rear area? Do they keep it clean so that I don't have to, or do we need to go there?
That's part of the grooming process, is the sanitary trim. So, and it's a really important part so that they don't carry stuff into the house.
And that's why we hire you.
Yes.
Well, and that's a good point. When you are looking for a dog groomer, and you obviously want to go to someone that you feel like your dog is comfortable with, what should you be looking for as a dog owner?
Number one, what's the level of experience that you have? Number two, is this a cage-free facility? If there are cages, do you use a heated dryer or a recirculated air dryer? Heated dryers are extremely dangerous and can be deadly for dogs.
Oh, wow.
If it's a cage-free facility, what precautions are you taking as a salon owner to ensure the safety of all the dogs in the salon?
They're not fighting.
Speaking of the dryers, you know, if we are going to wash our dog at home and we use a hair dryer to dry them, is that all right? Is that too warm?
You're going to want to use the cool heat setting on the blow dryer. The blow dryers get pretty hot, and that's a little much for a dog. You know, they got a lot of hair in here, and that heat's going to insulate around them, and it's just best to do cool air.
Well, now Lulu's a little dog, but you actually brought another dog, so I'll take over drying Lulu. And we want to meet Gertie.
Come on, buddy.
Tell us about
Hi,
Gertie.
girl.
Gertie's
a new friend.
Gertie's a special breed. Tell us about Gertie.
Hi, Gertie.
Gertie likes Lulu.
Come here, Gertie.
So Gertie's a doodle.
Gertie is a doodle. She is one of my clients. She comes every other week.
And that's a growing breed, right? The doodles? What is it a mix of?
It is a golden retriever and a poodle, and sometimes an actual doodle and another poodle, which is what Gertie here
And she's
is.
got a lot of hair, that girl.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
got a lot of hair. Hi, honey.
So I understand with a dog like Gertie, brushing the dog is very important. Even if you're going to take the dog into the groomer, you want to make sure. What are some of the techniques you have?
So you want to
little
get yourself a universal slicker brush. I have several different options here that you can purchase. You can buy them online. You can get them in the store.
Those are called slicker brushes?
Yes,
you want the
universal slicker
type?
brush.
Okay.
And these are pen brushes, so you want to be careful, and you can gauge that by, you know, rubbing it on your arm of how much pressure you want to put. Now, Gertie's coat's a little bit thicker, so you can kind of use a little more pressure. But I always think it's great to start with the feet, and you want to make sure you're brushing downward, but you're also brushing upward as well.
Okay.
And I always start with the feet, as I said, and then up to the legs on each side, and then I work up to the neck. And then, you know, the best thing to do is just put on your dog's favorite movie, get comfortable in the floor, because you're going to be down here a while.
What is your dog's favorite movie?
That's funny.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh,
Of course.
Ashley, now brushing Gertie is going to be a very involved job, so we're actually going to ask you to continue working on Gertie throughout the show, and we're going to check back in at the end of the show to see Gertie's blowout makeover.
I used to have a rug just like that.
If you
Back
would
in
like
the
to visit
70s.
Ashley for your pet grooming, you can find her at Spot SRQ Grooming in Burns Square in Sarasota, or find her online at spotsrq.com. All right, you'll keep working on Gertie, and we've got some big news from Ringling College, and that means good news for the Suncoast.
ABC 7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
From our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is an ABC 7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Scott Dennis. Here's what's coming up at 5 o'clock. Longboat Key police continue to investigate after a woman was found dead inside a sauna. Police are working around the clock to figure out what caused her death. And why a group of canines here on the Suncoast have a huge responsibility. Let's go check on the weather now with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Scott, taking a look at some of the long-range models now through the weekend, looking a little bit better for us on Sunday. We'll talk about that coming up at 5. A beautiful afternoon today. Temperatures topping out in the low 70s, pretty much where they belong. And it looks as though we'll see a mild day tomorrow. Should be a gorgeous day tonight. Calm conditions out on the waters. As far as our current conditions go, we have 72 degrees. We have sunshine and the dew point 54. Winds out of the west-northwest at 10. The pressure way up there, 30-15. That's sliding down a little bit. There is a front approaching on Friday. We'll have the details coming up at 5. See you then.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
If you were to describe it in terms of football lingo, Ringling College certainly scored a touchdown this week, a big one, when local philanthropists Drs. Joel and Gail Morganroth gave the school a $15 million gift. It is the single largest in the school's history. And President Dr. Larry Thompson joins us now with details. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So Dr. Joel Morganroth is a board member and has, of course, invested many, many hours into Ringling College. But were you surprised?
Well, we had been talking with him for some time, but the how quick it happened is really what the shock was, and then of course the amount, because you never know exactly where donors are in terms of that until you start the really serious discussion. But he wanted to make a transformative gift because he has fallen in love with the college and our students. And he really liked the fact that we are on the cutting edge of what is happening in art and design, and that is really what was important to him.
I like the fact that he also specified just a little bit about what area he was interested in developing. And he specified a new virtual reality major. Tell us about that.
So one of the things that really attracted him to Ringling was the fact that we're right there on the cutting edge of all art and design colleges. We're one of the top tier, but we are incredibly high tech. And that's, of course, what has happened in this visual world. So one of the new majors that we just announced this fall is in virtual reality. We're the first art college, the first Bachelor of Fine Arts in virtual reality to exist. Wow. We're way ahead of the rest of the country in this. And it's sort of emanated out of our game art program, but we know virtual reality is going to become such a really, really monumental thing. And so somebody has to do the content. So we don't focus on the engineering of it. We focus on the content, the stuff, the environments that you make to make the reality, make it a reality when you have the goggles on.
And actually what you're seeing is something that one of your graduates did put together, I understand.
Yes,
so the basis is there. But from your point of view now, you are looking into designing a program for what? Kids that are still in grade school perhaps, still in middle school? So you almost have to look into the crystal ball to see what you'll need to be teaching in 10 years. How do you even do that?
Well, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and you hope you're right. But one of the things about, I sort of preach a lot about creativity and the importance of creativity, is that you have to also be willing to take risks. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, we sort of see this as one of the major things in the future is going to be virtual reality. So you're right. It's like, what are these kids who are now in 5th grade or 6th grade going to be interested in 10 years from now?
How soon do you see this coming to fruition?
Oh, it's happening. We're accepting majors into it for this fall.
You just made some 17-year-olds very happy.
I mean, have you thought about the fact that if this virtual really gets to the point where it should, and that's the reason he wanted to focus on that they don't need you there anymore. They can just virtual reality you in. Could be frightening.
You know, Les, you really scare me.
I just wanted to throw it out there. I just wanted to throw it out. Didn't want it to blindside.
That could be the case. Okay, I got you.
Hey, look, if you need any comedy, we just need a couple of million.
He's a bargain.
Two will do it.
He's a bargain. So when we look at a virtual reality program like this, where do you hope it will take students in terms of careers and companies and job opportunities?
Well, there are a number of companies that are already involved in it and experimenting with it. So the piece you just saw was from Flight School, and one of our alums is very involved in that. It's basically out of Real Effects is one of the subcontractors. There's also a firm in Miami called Magic Leap that is very, very engaged in it and has received huge sums of money from places like Amazon and Google and so on and so forth in terms of this new technology. And then a lot of the entertainment environment is also involved in it. If you go to any of the film festivals, for example, they will be there showing what they foresee in the future as well. The big thing, though, is it's not just about entertainment, because it's about medicine.
Yes.
Think about you're able to see entirely the human body and what's inside it and so on and so forth. And it's also a big thing for education in the future.
Wow, it is at the forefront of everything, and Ringling College is right there making
And haven't
strides.
they had 2 Academy Award winners now out of your university?
Well, we've had 2 Academy Oscar winners, and then also an Emmy winner, and then on a lot of the animation films, there are like 20 of our graduates who are working on
Yes. We're thrilled you're here on the Suncoast, and congratulations. To get more information about all of the Ringling College programs, and there are so many, you can find more information coming up on their website at ringling.edu. Next, a Super Bowl treat, no matter who you're waiting for.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly 1 in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Okay, football fans, you got to add this to your TV. Might be hard to get by this season for Sunday, but get them for next year. These are NFL TV frames. That is something that actually snaps onto the edges of your TV. This was created right up the Suncoast from a guy in St. Petersburg. You let everybody know who you're rooting for. It's NFL licensed. It is called the Big Game TV Frame. It's patented and it custom fits 40 to 50-inch TVs. And that is just an awesome way to get that fan spirit going in your home.
Not big enough.
Oh, you know, we'll make it bigger for you, Les. All right, our Super Bowl celebrations head into the kitchen with Brew Burgers.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7, weekdays starting at 5.
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new adventure. From meeting curious lemurs to feeding big cats and hosing down rhinos, there's never a dull moment. And sometimes these amazing animals chime in. Tune in to Animal Outtakes to find out what they have to say. Watch Animal Outtakes every week on ABC7.
From our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is an ABC7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Here's what we're working on for 5 o'clock. The flu antiviral medication Tamiflu is raising concerns for parents as the number of flu cases continue to rise in Sarasota. And taking a quick look at your first alert traffic, right now traffic is backed up along US 301 in Sarasota near Laurel Street. Let's get a check on our first alert weather forecast with Bob Harris.
Thanks, Jacqueline. We're looking at generally fair skies overhead over the south. The east, though, a frontal system is moving in. Now, this front will bring us an increase in clouds on Friday. We'll talk more about that cold front and whether it will bring rainfall coming up at 5. Currently, though, it's beautiful out there, 72 degrees, lots of sunshine, and the dew point 54. Winds out of the west-northwest at 10 miles an hour, indicating a little sea breeze has kicked in. For your evening planner, looks to be good. No problems. Temperatures into the upper 50s by 11 o'clock tonight. We'll also take a look at another cold front that could bring us some rain on Sunday at 5.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Thank you. Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins. With the Super Bowl now just a few days away, we'll talk to a former player who's one of the leading scorers in NFL history. We'll find out what it's like to play in the big game and who he predicts will win. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
We're watching an approaching frontal boundary that could provide us a chance of rainfall on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll talk about that bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Coming up Friday at 4 on Suncoast View, we're getting ready for Valentine's Day. You're going to love how we spice things up. We're going to start by shopping with Giggles, a Suncoast adult novelty store. Our lovebirds John Scalzi and Linda Larson co-host and tell us about their stage reprisal of Love Letters, the play. Our beauty expert is back to help us look great, and Peak Performance Catering is in the kitchen.
Welcome back. We're here with Chef Mike Bacon from Brew Burgers, and we're going to learn how to cut up some cauliflower and make
Spice
some,
it up.
Yeah, spice it up.
We're
with
gonna do some stuff. So the easiest way to do this, I mean, obviously it comes out looking kind of nice and yummy, but
yeah,
in order to do that, people get intimidated. But if you just tear off, if you want to do it, just tear off all the green.
Okay.
First, you just kind of set it aside.
It's the first cut that's scary.
It's the deepest.
You never know where
they
to
say
go
that
in.
it's the deepest as well.
Yeah.
Am I nuts? But I've never been intimidated by cauliflower so far.
And then I cut off the end.
You're just basically gonna just reach in there and cut off the big part. I think the mistake people make when they do cauliflower, because you know how it crumbles all apart.
Yeah.
If you don't cut it all the way through, if you just kind of cut it part way through, and then tear it with your hands, you get these nice florets.
Yeah.
So then you could do the same thing if you want. Just cut it in a quarter, and then in the meantime, we'll Stephanie and I are going to make a batter for it.
Let's make a batter.
All right, so it's 4 ounces of flour, easy enough. It's a teaspoon of garlic salt. We're going to need 4 ounces of water in a minute.
Okay.
That's a half a teaspoon of salt.
Good job.
Yep. And then a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper.
I love a man that pre-measures.
Yeah,
Cool
I figured
off.
why not, right? Because we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, it's 4 ounces of water.
Okay.
We're going to mix that. If you want to use tongs, you want to use your hands, doesn't make any difference. But tongs or a whisk would be, you know, appropriate for that.
Yep.
We're going to make that into a little batter for the cauliflower.
Okay.
And once we're done with that, we can, it doesn't take but a minute actually, you just want to get it.
Now, I like you mentioned that once we batter the cauliflower, we have options. You can throw them in the fryer, you can throw them in an air fryer, you can bake them.
You can bake them.
You can make them as healthy as you want.
Right. For this purposes, we baked them in the oven, or we're going to bake more of them. And but you can certainly fry them. If you're going to fry them, you might want to throw a little flour dredging on them first before you put them in the batter.
So it sticks.
So it stays on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we're ready.
Certainly. So we're going to take a handful of this now, right?
Right.
And we're going to, about one, I don't know, whatever, 1 head of cauliflower.
Let's make a lot. I'm hungry.
You want to make a lot? All right. Well, that should be enough batter for that much anyway.
Yep. There we
Those are
go.
good sized chunks too, which makes sense. You want to be able to bite it.
You want to be able to pick it up and eat it. And also, cauliflower turns a little bit mushy as you cook it. You know what I mean?
So much water, right?
Yeah. So if I were doing it in a fryer later, I would use a little smaller version of it, which is what we do at the restaurant when we have them.
Okay.
right.
Anyway, so we're gonna just put that on a pre-sprayed
I'm
cooking
Les is having
sheet.
fun with the pot holder.
Oh. Whatever keeps Les in
I'm ready. I'm just saying I'm ready. I have a
Women are
job.
doing the work, Les. You're aware of that.
So Les is gonna throw this one in the oven.
Do some
and
work.
Oh, magic just happened, and
Magic
look!
did.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened so
I
fast.
love Magic Mike.
So anyway, this is what it's going to look like when it comes out of the oven.
How long did you bake it?
It's about 15 minutes total. After about 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes, whatever, right in the middle, we flipped it once.
Okay.
450 degrees. We're going to take those. We're going to actually do a little more magic here in a second, but we're going to take some hot sauce, which is Brew Burgers Hecka Habanero for this purposes, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's
love to have an air.
about, I don't know, 4 or 5 ounces of that. That's probably a little heavy, but that's okay.
That's
And
all
a
right.
little bit of melted butter.
Just a little.
Yeah, and we're going to whisk that up.
Okay.
Right.
And then am I going to dump those in there?
You're going to dump
the
those.
sauce that brings the
It does. And you know what? The cauliflower is just a vehicle
calories.
for the sauce.
That's right.
That's all.
So it might
right.
be healthier, but it's still packing the calories. Which
So
is
we're going to use that same tray
it's not
again.
the fat, but
Right?
the butter squeezed in there.
Here you go, Stephanie. Let me take
Pam,
that.
don't ruin my
We're going to
Super Bowl.
actually use this same
Yeah,
tray.
put it right in there.
We're going to throw that back in the oven. It makes a little bit of a mess,
Les,
but it's
I
kind
need
of
you to
fun.
make more magic.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for
I
magic?
got my glove.
All right, that one's a little warm.
Okay. I'm
But-
a little warm.
You're going to need to, here, let me hold that, because you're going to need to take one of those out of there
Oh, that's
first.
right.
Yeah.
The top one is done, so that's,
That
look
one
at
goes.
So we baked it twice, basically.
Yep.
First time to fry it, second time to bake
Twice
the
as
sauce.
big.
Sliders.
Oh, 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 don't do
Why
that.
did I do that? That was
Okay.
silly. That's a little warm.
Okay, I'm coming this way.
Great.
Okay,
So-
watch out.
Thank you. I like being served
Now
by
you've
Les.
also made us some bison burgers.
Yep, which
Wow.
To go with
Stephanie is
this.
actually putting on the grill right now. We call this the bison to the third, or buffalo to the third. We talked about that, but it's got
I love bison.
a little bit of the buffalo sauce, like we just made, in the mix as
Oh,
well.
so a little kick in the mix.
A little kick in
Bison's
the mix.
very lean, isn't it?
It is, and it's also got 35% more protein than regular beef, and it's about 90% lean. So.
And I like the fact that it's local, that you found a great place in Punta
Exactly.
Gorda.
So what I do when I put that on typically is I just give it a little squirt like that too.
And put the blue cheese on because we don't want to be too healthy. It is the
So,
Super Bowl.
right. So then you can just kind of make it into
Mike
there.
Bacon from Brew Burgers. We are cooking bison sliders. We have got cauliflower with wing sauce and a huge array of amazing food in front of us. Stop by Brew Burgers and celebrate the Super Bowl with them, or I'll tell you what, Mike says you can get all this stuff to go so you don't have to cook and have the party at your house too if you want. So
Absolutely.
great to have you here. Oh, Lulu's back. This is so happy. She's all clean and sweet smelling. We're going to check a look at Gertie has been clean and sweet smelling and getting brushed right here in the studio. Thanks to Ashley for coming in to help us groom our dogs. Everybody enjoy the rest of the day. Take some time. Enjoy the Suncoast view.